Welcome, this is Syed Khaled Shabazz. You are watching Gawah News. On the completion of first year of Modi's second term, Prime Minister Modi wrote a letter addressing the nation. Due to the lockdown in place, there were no celebrations, and PM Modi scripted his Mann Ki Baat in this letter to the nation. He highlighted the party's achievements, particularly mentioning the Triple Talaq Law, Citizenship Amendment Act, the abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir, among other things. Other achievements including the construction of roads, electricity connections, Swachh Bharat Mission, Ujjwala Yojana, and a monthly pension to the farmers, laborers, and others in the organized sector. In his first term, demonetization and GST made people weak in their knees. The second term, religious polarization, economy, and lockdown broke their back. During the first year of Modi's second term, there are many hits and misses. Besides the opposition, media, and even former in charge of the BJP IT cell, Shivam Shankar Singh, did a face-off of Modi's report card. To start with, as The Wire puts it, in the times of lockdown, and not just coronavirus, democracy too has been quarantined. The BJP meddled with the Muslim Personal Law in the name of Triple Talaq, claiming to be sympathetic to the suffering of Muslim girls and women, but failed to acknowledge the suffering of their daughters and sisters protesting silently at Shaheen Bagh for more than 40 days. In fact, while on the one side the government was praising the Maas and Betis of India, its goons were indulging in character assassination of the same people. The arrest and harassment of women activists and others during Ramzan also falls well in line. What India showed off to the international community as an achievement tarnished the image of the Indian secularism and religious tolerance within the country and outside, not to mention damaging both BJP's and Modi's international charisma. Islamophobia rose to new heights. Hate messages against Muslims increased. Universities like Jamia Millia Islamia and Aligarh Muslim University were targeted, and people who raised a voice democratically were booked under sedition. Then came coronavirus. The government and police singly targeted the Tablighi Jamaat and alleged them for spreading the coronavirus, cancelled visas of international pilgrims attending the Jamaat, and arrested them and even booked charge sheets. Hate messages on the social media started spreading like never before, manufacturing communal hatred on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter, so much so that its effects were seen in the strong reaction of Islamic and Arab countries on the growing culture of hate against Muslims. The OIC, for the first time, passed a resolution against India's policy and criticizes intolerance. For the first time, top Indian executives in UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia who were campaigning against Muslims and Islam on social media were fired, with these countries sending out a clear message that religious hatred cannot be tolerated. Similar reactions from Canada and New Zealand, where social media hate mongers were fired for spreading hatred against Muslims, were seen. The general conception in these countries blames the BJP and the Modi government for this type of Islamophobia and questions the biased role of police and government machinery. The Prime Minister of India also took pride in mentioning how his government dealt with the Babri Masjid and Ram Mandir issue. It is no secret that the judge who passed the decision in this case was offered a berth in the Rajya Sabha as Member of Parliament. It raised a lot of eyebrows and questions on the integrity of judiciary, and people's trust in judicial system has become even more feeble. The government is also boasting about the abrogation of Article 370 and Kashmir, but it is a reality that for the first time it gave Pakistan an opportunity to raise Kashmir issue in the United Nations. The lockdown and curfew in Kashmir after abrogation of the Article 370 on 5th of August, depriving the people of normal livelihood and even internet connectivity, not only affected the lives of Kashmiri people but also India's reputation at the international level, and the rest of India could only relate the grievances of the Kashmiri people when the government imposed a nationwide lockdown in March this year, giving everyone a sneak peek experience of the Kashmiri suffering. The current situation in India is that due to coronavirus and lockdown, the Indian economy is shattered. The workforce from the top of the pyramid to all the way down to migrant workers and daily wage laborers whose sufferings do not find a parallel in the history. Joblessness, economic freefall, and other problems including corruption still continue to plague India's growth. Scams continue to happen and have fallen down to a level so steep that we also had to witness a scam involving life-saving devices in these testing times like a ventilator. India's relations with the neighboring countries too are taking a beating. Nepal, which is a Hindu majority country, too has severed its ties with India. while China has encroached into Indian territory by some reports in large numbers to as far as 3 kilometers. The Indian mainstream media is silent about the India-China tensions, but international media has been reporting about it for a while. India's fight and even defense against China won't be easy, particularly at a time when the whole world is looking down at India for its seemingly domestic but major humanitarian problems that are stopping the country in its feet. Even India's longtime friend USA does not seem very happy with us and has recently threatened India to acquire the anti-malarial drug. Trump's statements are refutable and cannot be trusted, as his claims when speaking with India's PM 2 days ago were found to be untrue. The GDP has fallen this low for the first time in 11 years, and according to former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, this was a pre-lockdown impact. Instead of building bridges between communities and building the country, there is a lot of effort on polarization, dividing the community on religious lines with discrete but poisonous agendas. But there is still hope that Modi government will prioritize development and unbiased compassion to Indians, particularly as it faces crucial and dangerous times ahead. For Gava News, this is Syed Khalid Shahbaz. Thank you for watching.